Lazy Ozzie by Michael Coleman. Ozzie was a very lazy owl. "It's time you learned to fly," said Mother Owl one day. But Ozzie said, "Oh, do I have to?" He didn't want to learn to fly. All that wing flapping looked like too much hard work. Ozzie's favorite thing to do was to sit around. "I'm practicing being wise," he said. "Well, I want you to fly," said his mother sternly. "Now I'm going out to look for some food. And if you are wise, you will be on the ground by the time I come back." Ozzie thought hard. If he was wise, then he should be able to think of a way of getting down to the ground without flying. Suddenly, he noticed the horse who lived in their barn. The horse's head came up almost as high as the beam Ozzie was sitting on. Ozzie had an idea. "Help, help," he yelled. "What's the matter?" asked the high horse. "It's an emergency," cried Ozzie, jumping onto the high horse's back. "Take me to the milk shed." So the high horse took Ozzie to the milk shed. In the milk shed there lived a cow who wasn't quite as high as the high horse. "It's an emergency," cried Ozzie, jumping onto the not quite so high cow's back. "Take me to the pigsty." So the high horse and the not quite so high cow took Ozzie to the pigsty. In the pigsty there lived a pig. The pig wasn't as tall as the not quite so high cow, but he was a big pig. "It's an emergency," cried Ozzie, jumping on to the big pig's back. "Take me to the barnyard." So the high horse, the not quite so high cow, and the big pig took Ozzie to the barnyard. In the barnyard there lived a sheepdog. The sheepdog wasn't as tall as the big pig. He was a short sheepdog. "It's an emergency," cried Ozzie, jumping onto the short sheepdog's back. "Take me to the pasture." So the high horse, the not quite so high cow, the big pig, and the short sheepdog took Ozzie to the pasture. In the pasture there lived a lamb. The lamb wasn't as tall as the short sheepdog. She was a little lamb. "It's an emergency," cried Ozzie, jumping onto the little lamb's back. "Take me to the duck pond." So the high horse, the not quite so high cow, the big pig, the short sheepdog, and the little lamb took Ozzie to the duck pond. In the duck pond there lived a duck. The duck wasn't as tall as the little lamb. He was a dinky duck. "It's an emergency," cried Ozzie, jumping onto the dinky duck's back. "Take me to the barn." So the high horse, the not quite so high cow, the big pig, the short sheepdog, and the little lamb, and the dinky duck took Ozzie back to the barn. As soon as they got there, Ozzie hopped down to the ground from the dinky duck's back. He'd done it! "Now that's what you call being wise," he told himself. "So what's the emergency?" asked the high horse. "Oh," said Ozzie, "I was only kidding. Wasn't that fun?" The high horse, the not quite so high cow, the big pig, the short sheepdog, the little lamb, and the dinky duck weren't amused. They went away grumbling. But Ozzie was happy. His plan had worked. He was pretty wise already. "I flew all the way down," he said proudly to his mother when she came back. Mother Owl gave him a big smile. "That's wonderful," she said. Ozzie thought she was pleased with him. But he didn't know that she'd been watching the whole time. "Now, let me see you fly back up again," said Mother Owl. Uh-oh. The